Hey everybody, it's Greg from Geek Rant. I've got Toby and Sarah with me this evening, and we're going to be talking about Picard. Let's have a quick look at the trailer, and then we're going to get into the discussion.
Q went back in time and turned our world into a totalitarian nightmare.
Do you understand what this means? Time has been broken.
I will get us home together. The only way to heal our future is to go back and repair the past. There are ways of traveling in time.
Great. Now what? Welcome to the Earth of the 21st century.
You're saying we can undo this nightmare?
Let's go to work.
You can pilot a starship, but you can't drive.
You two really need to work on your communication.
Right.
See, there you go. Now you're in sync.
We have 3 days before the future is changed irrevocably. But even in the darkest of circumstances, there is a light.
Where are you taking us?
Home.
Okay, that was the trailer, and it obviously looked a lot better than what the actual series was. We're going to get into it now. This is obviously we're going to be talking about the whole series. Obviously, we're at the end, towards the end of May now. The whole 10 episodes have been out on Amazon Prime, and we've got a whole lot to talk about, really. There's a fair amount, isn't there, to get through and discuss. What did you guys? Where do we start with this? 10 episodes is a lot to get through.
Can I start just with my first instincts on it?
Yeah.
So with season 1, I was really excited about it coming out. Picard. I'm a massive Next Generation fan. You know, you guys. I had no choice, basically, as a child. And I have to admit, I absolutely loved all of it. And so when they said they were going to be releasing a Picard series, I was just so excited.
Yeah.
And then it came on and I was just so disappointed. And I just felt like, what is going on? He can't act in this series. What it's like, it was a joke. Got to episode 5 in the first series, and he was like a pirate with a little eye patch on, and he was he on cocaine or something? I had no idea what was going on. I felt like I was living in the multiverse.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed. I had to stop watching it. I did not watch the rest of the season. It wasn't until we started talking about doing this that I thought, right, well, I'd better watch it so we could talk about it.
Yeah.
So I suffered through the rest of that season just so I knew what was going on. And then I obviously watched second season now. But I have to tell you, I was much more I felt like it was much more like the old generation, the second season. Going in the first episode, obviously, you see them on the ship, and I don't know I can't remember whether that was in his mind or whether that actually happened. Oh no, what did happen? And then the Borg transformed them into a different multiverse, if you want to call it that.
Yes. But it's very prevalent. It seems to be very prevalent at the moment, doesn't it? Going into different universes and stuff.
It felt so much more like old school Next Generation rather than the last season. It didn't feel like Star Trek. It didn't feel like Star Trek.
Well, interestingly, they weren't so much trying to achieve the Next Generation feel with the second season. They were potentially more looking at harking back to some of the more traditional films like The Voyage Home. And so their effort, although on the bridge, when Jurati as the Borg Queen appears, there is that element. But it's gone, and it's done. It's a show that is done now. But I think that yes, there's definitely elements in Next Generation, but they're pretty slim. I think
I enjoyed more.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more. I definitely enjoyed it more, and I got into it. And I really liked the alternate universe where Picard was like not evil, but yeah, I suppose it's a bit like Nazi.
Yeah, he was evil. He was a dictator, a cruel general.
Yeah, so I suppose he was, but you know, he loved having all his trophies and all those things, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was so much better than season 1, which surprised me.
Yeah, that's interesting because there were moments in the first season that I enjoyed. There was one particular episode which was very nostalgic. You know, I'm like you, Sarah. I'm a big Next Generation fan. You know,
we all are. Yeah,
we were brought up on that, weren't we? That was, you know, we watched that every week. It was on. You know, it was a real follow the whole story. A big fan of Picard, you know, Data, you know, all the good characters they had in there. And I know they swapped them around a little bit, and they Crusher went and she came back and all that sort of thing. But there were so many good episodes within that whole, you know, series, you know, the 7 series. And it was much more about human, you know, discovery, you know, sort of learning about different aspects of humans and how it all was. And this is very different because this is a running story over 10 episodes rather than episodic, you know, each week a different story and a different bit of, you know, it might be a Riker episode, it might be a Picard episode and so on. It's very different in that respect, isn't it? But and I think they tried a bit harder to have a bit more about Picard, you know, and all this story about his mother and, you know, all that sort of thing. I didn't really like the bit about her hanging herself and all that sort of thing. That was
it was very dark in places,
quite morbid,
very dark.
You know?
Yeah.
But when the series started, it jumped. It's episode 1, 2, and 3. It just kept jumping all over the place. You know, 1 minute there's the Borg at the beginning, and I'm fine with them. I like the Borg. I liked it. They were trying to update the Borg, but none of that made any sense. All they want to hear to negotiate, and then they're fighting them, and they're like shooting at them, and it was all just, what the hell? It's so un-Picard like how he deals with it. Destruct the ship, you know. And then they were in this alternate universe where he was evil and been saved by Q, and the bits with Q were pretty poor, you know.
Yeah.
You know how I didn't mind some of the dictator stuff, you know, and I wouldn't have minded exploring that a bit more, but it felt like they were just like, that whole episode was just a rush. Right, we're going to introduce the Borg Queen's here, then we've got to, you know, go to the ceremony, we're going to beam out, get out of there, and then we're off onto the next thing where we're going to go back in time to another scenario. And I thought, in 3 episodes, we've had 3 blooming scenarios, and it was all, whoa. And then it came to slow right down to, right, we're doing the voyage. Exactly what Toby said. Star Trek 4, voyage home. You know, we've gone back to, you know, LA or wherever it was, and it slowed right down. And there was some really bad, you know, moments in there. You know, not very good character plots. You know, it was it just
I can pick up on that. The thing is, right, the problem that I felt that the show had was they lost focus on the characters. Okay, there was very much Seven and Raffi and Rios suddenly took a back seat, and they were pretty much underdeveloped. I mean, and they had these little side stories which took them away, and I felt that they then lost significance in the whole scheme of things. Yeah. And they tried to focus on Picard and Adam Sung. And I personally feel those 2 characters, Picard should be having a leading role, but taking a seat back and guiding or nurturing a new captain into the role, potentially even projecting to something of a new future for the series and having a different captain like Rios. But instead, Rios has been worked out of the series
Yeah.
into sort of a retirement in a sense.
Yeah.
And I felt that they had some real strengths, and in the end, all we ended up was a couple of overacting or underacting as Picard and overacting as Brett Spiner. And I just felt that we lost sign. And in the end, there was this kind of emotional farewell, and they were hugging and everything.
Yeah.
And really, it didn't warrant it. There was no. I had lost a lot of feeling for these characters.
Yeah.
And Eleanor kept appearing, and he's a terrible character.
Yeah.
A child who's an assassin, this great fighter. It just really was. It was a whole.
Well, they cut him out a lot of the series, didn't they?
Yeah, and rightly so. He was terrible.
But they brought him back at the end. I thought that was it. They'd cut him, and that was going to be it.
Oh no, he was always going to linger in Raffi's kind of memory and keep appearing. And Raffi's character. I mean, what is she doing there? I mean, she's got no kind of guidance. What is she? Yeah, she's a rebel, but yet she's now reinstated.
Yeah, she's so volatile. She's
volatile.
She's not like when you see Next Generation, there and I know things move on and things develop, but the Federation had brilliant training for their crews.
Yeah,
they were professionals. They were always calm and didn't get yes, there were the episodes where they got affected by some drugs or something and they went a bit mad or whatever, but generally they were totally professional. They dealt with situations. I mean, there was a bit where Raffi was like, let's smash the window and break into this policeman's car and steal his car and all that chase through the car thing was rubbish.
It was total rubbish.
Like you were saying, the whole real story, he met the girl. I think that was probably the point of the meeting of that storyline, but he then got taken off by ICE, and put into confinement, and that was like a whole political statement about the world, how I don't know what it's like over there, but but that was he's been transported across, and they just, all right, we'll just get down. Oh, my tricorder can now shoot out a beam that stops the vehicle and shoot people with the tricorder. And I was like, what the hell's going on here?
That was the thing. Anything could happen at any moment.
That whole part of that thing, that was it. Oh, we've done that whole storyline. You think, well, is that going to follow? Now, oh, what? Totally scrapped that whole thing about him being, captive and all that sort of thing. It was. They kept doing this, kept having little things that come up. One of the things that really bugged me as well was when he went to meet Guinan for the first time, and her bar was on, Forward Street, and she's number 10, and they're suggesting, oh, it's 10 forward, and that's why that was called that on Star in the ship. No, that was on deck 10. At the front of the ship, so it was called 10 forward. That's why it was called that.
It's as if they wrote it and didn't know anything about Star Trek.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that people they've said, haven't they, that they've written this series assuming that most people don't remember the Next Generation.
Yeah, but
which is
crazy.
A big mistake. Yeah,
it is a big mistake.
Yeah. Well, they filmed the next series, so they filmed seasons 2 and 3 back to back.
Oh, did they?
Really?
Yeah. So
I know it's coming, and I know that they've got the original crew
next
coming
year.
in.
You know why they can't? Because Picard's getting so old.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think that was another thing I wanted to say. I mean, he's past it now, isn't he? I mean, he looks
fantastic, but
he looks like he's going to keel over at any minute.
They need to let him retire, don't they?
He could barely
have had him in a smaller part. I know it's called Picard.
Yeah, he shouldn't have given him so many words.
Yeah. Well, the guy's voice has been shot for about 10 years. I mean,
I know. About all the films that he's been in recently, he's always popping up in places, but actually, when I rethink about it, he's not got a lot to say.
No,
and it's just that he is who he is, and it's amazing that he's there. But he's obviously had to be the lead, and it's been very difficult for him. I'm sure he's absolutely knackered.
There's been on-set reports that he has virtually not been able to do it.
Yeah.
So,
I could tell by
Yeah.
the way he's saying the lines. He's got no energy
Yeah.
behind him.
I feel sorry for him.
I feel sorry for him.
He is
paid a lot to do it though.
Well, he's an executive producer on it as well.
Mm.
So
well, I mean, at the end of the first series, they had the perfect opportunity to revitalize the whole thing by when they put his mind into the robot body, right?
Yeah.
Right. They could have had a younger actor, had him go into the body, and then he could have been like a subconscious discussion in that person's ear,
Absolutely.
like, talking to himself,
Yeah.
and he could have had a smaller part. He could have done it nicely, and then it would have revived. I mean, I would have been really pissed, right? If I was like 95 years old and I've been given the opportunity to put in another body, I'd be saying to them, I don't want to be old like Picard. I want to be a young man again. Put me in a young man's body. What the hell?
I think it's apparent that he still rides pretty much on his ego.
Yeah.
I think that this is very much
it's an ego project, isn't it?
I've still got it. I'm back. I'm the one in control. I very much feel like that is the way, and I feel.
Do you think that's why they got rid of this Rios character? Do you think?
Yeah,
do you think it's he could have been popular, and maybe they thought, right, we're going to move him away. We're going to move him away because I want this is my series, and I know he's
well, Rios could have easily taken over that series because I personally feel that he's got a lot of potential for being a captain on the. Despite the cigar, I know you don't like cigar, but. I think that
in that century, I mean, if you're a true Trekkie, they've stopped all smoking and all that sort of thing, because it was bad for you.
Statement thing, isn't it?
And it's like, hang on,
but they still drink alcohol though, don't they?
It's synthahol, isn't it? No, they do still drink alcohol. You're right.
Yeah, they drink the old.
But there's been stuff like that, isn't there? Where
blood wine.
There was an episode called Time's Arrow where old Clements, the Mark Twain, he was saying, "Where do I get a good cigar around here?" And they're like, "No, we don't have that anymore. That's not part of what we do. So I for me, it's all the core that was Star Trek, and you can see it throughout all the good series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. That core principle of there's like, when did they ever mention the Prime Directive? Okay, the Prime Directive was something they would say like every other blooming episode in all those series. We can't interfere with this. This is the Prime Directive. These guys have gone back in time and they're changing everything they can possibly change, they've left Rios there to have babies and completely contaminate the funny timeline.
Yeah, the thing is, they're fortunately, Greg, they've kind of cast that aside and they've gone for the sort of the blockbuster feel of the approach. Yeah. And a lot of people probably quite like that approach. That aren't necessarily Trek purists, or looking for something different. They may be Trek purists, they just want something different, and this very much is aimed at that kind of that big narrative
but why should that be the case? This is Star Trek, that's the point of it. Do you know what I mean? It should follow the general principles.
Weird. It's
create another show. If you don't want to do that, create another show and just have it as Battlestar Galactica or whatever. It's like this is something
what you're turning on for, isn't it? Star Trek.
It's right back of the name, isn't it?
Why there's been such a massive following to these TV programs, and it's partly about the principles of it. It's always been good when it comes to equality and all that sort of thing. They're always good roles,
groundbreakers,
and all that sort of thing. And it's like one of the only programs you don't really need to change, because it's got good principles, and it shows that there's a bright future, and that we could all be in this Federation of Planets. But now it seems to be like always fighting, the bickering, all the bickering that goes on between I can't remember the woman's name, Oh, I'm trying to remember what that character's name. You know, the one we don't like.
Raffi.
Raffi, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She always bickering and always arguing and
yeah, God.
you know, it's really painful, really painful.
It was painful.
You know.
I think deep in, she's quite, I think she's a good actress. I think whatever.
Yeah, she's just not given a good role, is she?
No,
really?
not a good role. And poor old Seven, she was really sidelined for a lot of it. I didn't really have much to do at all.
Yeah.
And there was that initial storyline where she was going to be viewed as something other than Borg.
That
really didn't come to anything, did it? I mean,
no, I know, but then they changed the back of the and always things that make me laugh is they do that and exactly the same bits appear on her, exactly the same bits that were on that. It's just like you know, it's when they were back to their own time, they could have just turned her back. They didn't need to do any of that. Do you know what I mean? Because it was in an alternate reality anyway, wasn't it? She'd been the president of that totalitarian state, and then she went into the
I think there weren't any turns, there weren't any unexpected twists at the end. It was very much like the third episode, I knew exactly how the show was going to end.
You
know, it was pretty obvious. There was something dark in Picard's past which they were luring to, and that Seven was going to go through this Borg thing, and that Rios was going to be relocated back into it was all predictable. And then at the end, Q couldn't do his magic, so there was definitely something wrong with him. Then we had 6 episodes in the middle where it's just all filler, and then we had the last episode, and it was pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you could literally have just sort of said, why didn't we just go back in time 5 minutes ago and said, hang on, Borg Queen, just everyone stop firing at the moment. What do you want? You know, take your face off so we can see your face, and then we'll just get it sorted. But
but she comes there.
All that sort of thing as well. Okay, there's this massive thing in space, okay, which is about to erupt, and only the Borg Queen knows about it. I mean, why the hell didn't the Federation could see these? I mean, they just go, oh look, hang on, there's a massive thing that's about to explode. You know, it's like, what the hell?
It was like a big butthole shitting on the whole universe, wasn't it? And they knew nothing about it.
They knew nothing about this massive thing that was about to erupt. Only the Borg Queen did. And they were there. It was like, oh, let's go there now. Oh, it's 5 minutes down the road. You know, it's like, what the hell?
No wonder Rios stayed in the past, for God's sake.
Oh, dear. And
so, well, I mean,
I got a bit disappointing, really, isn't it?
Sorry, Sarah.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but they've got the third series. I'm going to watch it because, you know, I'm a diehard Trekkie, but I mean,
it's hard going, isn't it? It is really hard going.
It is hard going. It's a shame.
And also they keep bringing Brent Spiner in and giving him really crappy characters to play. You know, and it's always a Soong character who's now he's always playing the baddie. You know, I think he's getting an ego thing about playing the baddie all the time. You know,
he's a method actor. He likes to ham it up, doesn't he? He's proper Star Trek in that respect.
He is. But I wish they'd give him a nicer role again. You know, I know it was a bit of Data in the first series, but. You know, I just, to be honest, there's so much in this series that you can just nitpick and pull apart, can't you? And all the storyline is just,
you know, maybe we should end on some positives. So I actually quite liked Guinan in her role. I thought she was a good actress, an interesting character, and I wish that they had more about her in the show. I thought she was good. Yeah,
but again, though, they were given. She had these ability to do this, and then she had this pot thing, which would, when you, you know, it's like, what the hell when you do this?
That
thing,
was stupid.
That like calls one of the cues or something, or whatever. And
that was like, really stupid. But I thought, as a person, a character, I thought she looked quite interesting.
Yeah, she could have been good if it was a bit better written and a bit.
Oh God, the writing was terrible.
You know, I like John Delancey as well as Q. You see, I'm a huge fan of his, and he had nothing to do really. You know, the last bit at the end, it was nice sentimental bit between him and Picard and all that sort of thing. But he's basically put him into this situation to almost kill him a few times, just to get him to this point of him remembering, oh, your mother hung yourself. Oh, thanks.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And oh, it's not your fault. You know, why the hell didn't you just do a little flashback thing as Q does? You know,
I know.
Then there wouldn't be a series to watch.
Yeah, I guess what we're saying is it hangs on a very thin thread the whole show.
Yeah.
You know, when we need
what did you think about the Principal of the Borg becoming much more benevolent and you know, you're gonna bring people in that are lost and want to be, you know, it's like bloody hell, you know, crap. What the hell?
How is that really going to work?
So cutthroat in the next generation. They just want to play everybody.
Absolutely. And now she's just going to go, yeah, oh no, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm lonely and I just need some friends.
Yeah, there was no sentimentality. It was just take over everybody.
What the hell? Yeah. Just, oh my goodness. So, you know, they've then destroyed one of the all-time great villains of Star Trek. Now they're going to be friends. You know, it's like, no, they've got to fight against the Borg. It's like
you got to look at it like
a hurricane on the distance. You got to fight against it. You know.
Well, you need the ultimate evil to fight against.
That's right.
Something that epitomizes the baddie.
Exactly.
And that's what the Borg was.
Yeah.
And Star Trek were the goodies, the Borg were the baddies, and you know, it's a good versus evil thing, and it works really well because on some primal level we all really understand that. Yeah. You know, I want to tap into that.
No, I think,
and they kind of blow that away with
it's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah.
With an identity crisis that she's obviously going through. So, you know.
Before we finish on this subject, there's one other point that I wanted to make that disappoints me again is right at the end, you see Brent Spiner as Soong. All his stuff has been destroyed. He's looking around. What's the last thing he can have a crack at? Thing. Project Khan, you know? Yeah. And I think to myself,
the eugenics wars.
Why are they, you know, this is kind of, you know, clutching at the best bits of Star Trek, you know, to ruin it, you know, and I just sometimes think, guys, you know, think of something new, you know, think of something new. We're happy with something new, you know, keep it in the vein of Star Trek.
I don't think they can think of new stuff. I think that they're sort of deprived of good writers.
It's really
they
bizarre.
Can't think of new storylines.
Like
why wouldn't you want to create new IPs? Why not? Why don't you want to create new stuff that people can invest in? It's crazy. How do they think this stuff came about in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. You know, like the new series are all set back around Kirk's time, you know, and or just before. Kirk is. I haven't seen the new one.
What's that called again?
It's I can't think what it's called.
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds. That's it. Yeah. I was thinking. I kept thinking Discovery, but it's Strange New Worlds.
God! Don't bring that into the equation.
Oh
Jesus
God!
Christ.
You know.
Oh my God!
Strange New Worlds, and
that looks with Pike. It looks much better.
That could be better, but again,
I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that.
They're into going back over the old stuff. They've got Spock in it. You know, they've got as another person playing Spock. They've got.
I think we're going to see a lot of new stuff. I do.
Kirk in it, and I'm hoping they just, you know, they get a bit carried away with this going back. And I'd like to know what's happened more after the Voyager. You know, what's gone on after Voyager.
I don't like about things like Discovery and that is the name of the series, isn't it? That was
yes, the recent one.
They have it's supposed to be set back then, but they have technology that was never invented at that.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Discovery warp drive thing, or to leap into it. What the hell? Where the
mushroom drive?
The spore. What? Sorry.
The mushroom drive.
Spore, isn't it?
Yes.
Something.
I call it the mushroom drive.
Have anything like that. It needs to be after everything that we've seen. They can't create something new that wasn't involved in art.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. So let's hope they get their shit together.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Stargazer in Picard. I like the idea that they're going back on the Stargazer. They could turn it into a Stargazer series, you know?
Yeah.
Rios would have been good on that part. They
He would have been.
They could have had a younger robot
And that
Picard,
cigar
you know, and he could have been like an ensign or something helping out. And it could have been much more interesting, couldn't it? But
Picard is kidnapped and Rios has to rescue him or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there could have been
got
something.
a gag over his mouth so he can't talk, so he didn't have to say anything. Just...
Yeah. Hog-tied in the back of a starship.
I was trying to think, what positives can I take out of this series? You know,
I know.
And it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult because I feel like it's the whole Star Trek thing is being a bit betrayed. You know, it's hard to support it and feel love for it, you know. There's a few nostalgia.
My biggest positive is that it's finished. And I don't have to watch it anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad, isn't it?
Right.
It's sad.
Anyway, let's talk about something else that we might like the look of. Okay, so a couple of days ago, a new trailer came out. It's for a new Marvel series, which we know is coming, and it's the She-Hulk. Let's have a quick look.
Being a superhero is a trial by fire. Who's gonna protect the world if not people like you?
I'm Jennifer Walters. I'm a lawyer. I have great friends. Can we get some shots, please? It's an emergency. A demanding job.
We just started a superhuman law division, and I want you to be the face of it.
And a frustrating family.
Cause you didn't ask for this, but you still gotta deal with it. Your transformations are triggered by anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing. Oh. Rude! Kind of feels like if I don't transform, I'm gonna die.
Yes, yes, yes. No, no.
I just want to be a normal, anonymous lawyer.
Can you tell us where She-Hulk is?
Jen, you're a story now.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right now. You could be an Avenger.
Oh, I'm not a superhero. That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason. Is there anything more depressing than dating in your 30s?
Yeah, this is the best date I've had in a while.
Oh.
Should we split some fries?
Let's get those to go.
Okay, well, I was mildly surprised. I didn't know what to expect, really. I thought this could be funny. It could be good. It could be quite nice and light-hearted. Have a bit of joke. It could also be really bad, and the jokes fall flat. You know.
Yeah.
But I can see they've probably got a bit of work to do on the CGI stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that.
When she's, you know, but I didn't think it was disastrous. You know, I'm just hoping they
do a lot of work between trailer and release.
Yeah.
This is what they're saying, isn't it? That they're going to touch up the effects. She basically looked like Shrek half the time. I mean, she's got that same sort of rubbery sort of plastic, her hand slightly bigger than her wrists, you know, that sort of feel. Yeah. It was a shame. I mean, ultimately, you know, that is something we need to look beyond, because I think for me, there was a really, there's seeds of hope. And I think the reason why I feel that is because what they didn't do was throw a whole lot of pyrotechnic effects at us. They presented us with a character, with the Hulk, and as well, and very much about that revelation moment about her coming into her power that we're going to hopefully see through this journey, which we highlighted last week.
We did,
but also there wasn't the multiverse. There weren't any fly superheroes. There
No.
was the Abomination.
Yeah.
And if the Abomination versus the Hulk, because Tim Roth has returned to his
Yes.
take on
Yeah.
Hulk.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the Abomination Hulk combination.
Have you?
And I think that will be interesting as a story. It's pure comic. And then She-Hulk has a sense of humor in the comics. She's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
She rides her feminism and uses it as a tool.
Yes.
So while
I mean, there at the end there, when she's carrying the guy kind of into the bedroom,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, okay, that could be different.
Marvel film.
That could be different. That could be better, you know.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it could be nice to have a feminine character, you know.
Yeah.
That's not always, you know, it's like, oh, we can't be feminine anymore. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being feminine. That's a good trait, you know.
Yeah.
Like she's sexy.
Yeah.
Right. So she's supposed to be. So she's the Hulk's cousin.
Yes, that's right.
And you see at the beginning of the trailer, there's an accident.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I think in the story, he in the comic books, he gave her a transfusion, didn't he?
That's right, he did.
So that must be what happens.
Yeah, that's the speculation, isn't it? That
And
now
then
he's in permanent Hulk form, so he's got to have his blood on storage somewhere. This whole situation about whether he's remains the Hulk.
Yeah.
And in the book, in the comics, she can transform much more easily than he can.
She's got more control over it.
Yeah, she does. And
the way that she's become a Hulk.
Say that again.
Because of the way she got a blood transfusion, it's given her a different way of managing. Yes, but no, I think I'm excited about it. I really enjoyed watching the series that have been coming out on Disney Plus, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be very different. You know, we reviewed Moon Knight, didn't we? And sort of had a good talk about that. But that I think that will be very different. You know.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice that it'll be something different. You know that we can sort of get into. And hopefully
this one looks more like a comic.
Yeah,
this one looks more like the origin.
Hopefully it'll be fun, a bit more light-hearted and not so serious, or trying to make a statement about something, or you know, some equality issue or something like that. You know, it'd be nice just to sort of enjoy it, you know, for being a bit of a comic book thing, you know.
It's true. And also she's a lawyer, so there's going to be other ways into the story. So for example, there's potentially could be, you know, subplots. I know this sounds like an unusual thing for a Marvel series, but a subplot where there's something else going on that she's involved with that it kind of fits into the Marvel universe in some shape or form.
Characters will come in. You could end up with Daredevil in there because he's an attorney.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see which characters will come in.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great series. I don't know if you've seen the Daredevil series he was on Netflix. Now it's on Disney Plus again, isn't it? But that was a really great series, and it was quite brutal, wasn't it? There's a lot of he took a lot of beating, didn't he, old Daredevil throughout that series? Really did. But that was a good series. So it would be nice. He popped up in the Spider-Man film, didn't he? So, but he didn't really have much to do, you know.
But he caught that thing flying through the window, didn't he?
He was like, yeah.
And then, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm a good lawyer.
Which is a really shit line.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be good, and I'm really looking forward to it. And do you know what? I'm really impressed with how many series they've released back to back. And I don't know whether that's because of COVID and they had it all recorded and they're now releasing it, or whether they intend to continue to release series at this pace. That would be fantastic if they do.
Well, they're bloody loaded, aren't they? So they should have a lot of money to be able to make these things.
And you know, these kind of effects are getting more and more they can do, can't they? More and more regular.
What,
you know,
the Trek effects.
Yeah. I think that trailer is probably like a tester. Send it out there, see what people say, and then we'll like, oh, sugar lumps. We need to put. I just said sugar lumps.
Sugar lumps.
I know. I'm trying to keep it PG. I'm trying to keep it PG.
Well, then I went.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm thinking they're thinking.
They don't swear at the Marvel universe, you know.
No, exactly. I was just trying to keep it a bit.
Star Trek this week. They kill people in Star Trek.
Yeah. There is. Yeah, they do. It's quite brutal in places, isn't it?
It was. But yeah, I was surprised actually, because I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. But then when I saw they had Bruce Banner in it and the whole that might ground it a bit.
Yeah.
I thought that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Even though he's living on a tropical island somewhere for whatever reason we don't know.
I'm surprised he hasn't dropped any spoilers about it.
Well,
he's terrible for spoilers. Him and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
From Holland, they're terrible. They keep dropping spoilers.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, there was a spoiler. He dropped a spoiler just before the Endgame film came out, and he was doing an interview, and he said, "Oh yeah, in the next one, everyone dies." And the guy,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Oh my God, am I in trouble? Am I in trouble?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. You should check it out. It's hilarious.
No, I've seen that. I've seen him do that. Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah.
I think now he's not allowed to do any press releasing or like go on any of the.
Did you do that on purpose to get out of it?
No, definitely not.
No.
I think a lot of these actors are clueless. They don't give a damn, do they, about what's bloody going on with it all. They don't know anyway. They come in for like a day and they just do a few scenes and then they're gone. They don't actually know the full story.
Egos though, they want to be able to say, oh, I know, oh, this happens.
Do you not think he's being cheeky, or do you think he's really doing it?
No, you need to go and watch it.
Right.
Put it in.
No, I think you're right, Sarah. It's quite funny, isn't it, when you see that bit?
And he's like,
because he's like, oh,
like,
and he pulls
oh
a sort of expression of like, oh, what have I said? It's like,
I forgot the name of the actor that he was with.
It was Mark Ruffalo and Chris Evans. Was it Chris Evans or was it?
No, it wasn't.
Or Robert Downey Jr. I can't remember.
No, it was
Don Cheadle.
Yes, that's it. And he basically, he's like, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whoa, dude.
Oh yeah, like in the next film, he nearly said half of everybody died, and he went half. Everybody dies, and then he went, dude. And it was brilliant. You've got to watch it.
Yeah, okay. I'll have a look at that. But yeah, I
had to watch it about 6 times. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? There's a lot of preciousness. There people hold these things preciously, don't they? So
it's on these films and it hadn't been released yet.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Told everybody the ending. Terrible.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Good. Oh well, at least we're at the end of this episode. We're talking about something positive. We're looking forward to the She-Hulk, and hopefully that will be a good series.
Yeah.
I think fingers crossed. We can review it on this channel, can't we?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks very much, everybody, for listening to Geek Rant this week. We've had a great show. It's good to have a bit of a vent sometimes, and Picard has allowed me to vent a little bit, my disappointment. But then talking about She-Hulk has cheered me up. So that's pretty good. That's an even balanced show. So brilliant. Thanks again to Toby and Sarah for joining me and having a chat with me about these. We'll be doing more videos next week. Please subscribe. Please like the videos. We want comments. It'd be great to hear what you guys think of what we think of these things. All right. Have a good week. Speak to you soon.
Dude. Not everybody. No. Is that?
No. Hey, whatever.
Can we rewind that part?
Yeah.